watching the news, you see this couple. And this couple is standing there and they're crying and they're begging for people to look for their 7-month-old son. And they're crying and they're sitting there and you're watching them and you feel bad for this couple.
Sympathy.
It brings you like some sort of like want to go look for their son. And a few days later, you see them again on the news, but this time they're getting arrested for the potential murder of their son.
So they're suspects.
Yes.
Not convicted yet, but they have
Not
evidence towards them.
That's the story.
Hard evidence that they're getting arrested.
So this is a story of Emmanuel Haro. He was a 7-month-old boy that was potentially murdered by his parents.
7 months old. Wow.
7 months old. Let's get into it. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. This episode contains discussion of sensitive topics that may be distressing for some audiences. Please take care while listening, and if these topics are triggering for you, we encourage you to prioritize your well-being. Welcome to Tea
And E with the T.
I'm your host, Teresa.
I'm your co-host, Edwin.
And today we're going to talk about Emmanuel Haro and his story. I'm going to talk about basically what happened the day that he went missing. So he was supposedly abducted on August 14th, approximately around 7:47 of this year.
Oh, 2025.
2025.
April. Wow.
August.
Oh, August. Wow, recent.
Yes. Approximately at 7:47 p.m., Rebecca, she was going to this store. It was called Big Five in California. Now, this was in, this is going to be a little bit hard to say, but it's called Yucaipa. So in Yucaipa, California, she was going to this store, basically a sports store. It was called, it's called Big Five, the Big Five.
Mm.
And she was going there to pick up a mouthpiece for her stepson that was playing football at the time, at that very moment. And so she's going with Emmanuel, and they're going to the store together. It's just her and Emmanuel. And she gets out the car, but she smells something. She smells Emmanuel basically he went number 2 in his diaper, right? And she gets out of the car. She decides to change his diaper in the parking lot before they go in. So she opens the back door. She takes Emmanuel out of his car seat and lays him down on what she says, quote unquote, chair. And
the seat, the car seat.
It's the seat, yeah. But she calls it the chair when they interview her.
Yeah.
And she says she lays him down on the quote unquote chair, but it's the seat of the back seat of the car. Mm-hmm. And she lays him down and she starts changing his diaper. And then all of a sudden she hears Hola. And then she blacks out.
Hola.
And then, yeah. And then she gets up. She wakes up and she no longer sees Emmanuel anymore. So Emmanuel is no longer there. So she immediately runs into the store at Big Five and asks the worker, have you seen a baby? Have you seen a baby? And they're like, no. And then she's like, Mom, my baby was taken. And then she goes and runs to another store, right? She calls her husband, which her husband is Jake. And she calls him while he's at the supposed game, right? The football game.
Supposedly. You over here throwing hints, huh?
And so she calls him and she tells him what's going on. And then they call the police. Now, this was just in a matter of a few hours. Not hours, like an hour, right? Okay. So the next day, she starts doing interviews for the news. And she goes on the news and she's hysterically crying. And well, she sounds like she's crying. And her voice is cracking, her voice is really high. She's like, I can't find my baby and all this stuff. Like, can you please like look for him? Like, he was taken from me. Some man just came up and approached me and said, Hola, and all this stuff, right? Okay. So that's the story of what potentially happened.
That's
the day that
her side.
Yeah.
Her side of what happened.
The day that Emmanuel was abducted, right? And when you look at this interview, the first thing that people noticed when they watched it, they're like, she's lying. And they thought that the parents were lying. Because the one thing that people noticed is, first of all, she has this bruise on her eye, right? The bruise on her eye, and I'll show you the picture. The bruise on her eye looks a little bit outdated. So I don't know if you know like the stages of like when a bruise is curing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know the stages?
Not too many.
Well, supposedly, when you first get a bruise, the fresh bruise is red, right? Mm-hmm. And that would be like around 0 to 2 hours of bruise. Now, the early stages would be 1 to 2 days, would be purple, more purple now, and more darker, mm-hmm. right? Then the mid stage would be around 3 to 5 days, and that one would be like green and purple. And then now when it's healing, it's the late stages, it's 5 to 7. Now it's going to look a little bit yellow, orange. And then now in the final stage, it's going to look a little bit more like your skin tone, mm-hmm. okay? So when you look at this bruise, to me, in my eyes, it looks like the mid stage, 3 to 5. People say that her bruise doesn't look fresh, right? And this was allegedly the bruise that she received. She got knocked out by the man that abducted her baby.
Wouldn't that be... It doesn't make too much sense because, I mean, I would expect them to hit her from the back.
That's what I was going to bring up. Another thing people talked about is like, why is her bruise on her face, right? It's not like he reached around and like stalked her like that.
Yeah, when she turned around, maybe she hit her in the eye, but why hit her in the eye?
What she states, what's her story is the fact that she didn't turn around. She didn't have time to look at the man. She didn't have time to see anything that he was wearing.
So she didn't turn around.
So what she states or how she's telling the story, she didn't turn around. So how did you get this bruise on your eye? Because it doesn't make sense, mm-hmm. as to if he was going to approach you from the back, I feel like he would hit you in the back of the head, or it would just make more sense to hit you in the back of the head, not right there in your eye. Like, that, the only way you can do that if you're turned around facing him. So you would have seen him. No? So that's that. Another thing people realized is how she's acting. So the way she was, whenever she was doing this interview, the way she was acting was a little bit weird. Mm-hmm. She had no tears in her eyes. No tears. Just squints, and her voice sounded like it was cracking, but it didn't seem like she was crying. It seemed like she was playing a show. It seems like it wasn't... She was trying to pretend like she was sad. Mm-hmm. Another thing is the fact that I don't know if you know or if you realize, when you're crying and, something is hurting you, basically when your feelings are hurt, you kind of feel it in your heart, right? Mm-hmm. And then it kind of hurts a little bit in your chest. And then sometimes you're trying to catch your breath because you feel like this, like, sort of like tightness in your chest. You want to You want to take a deep breath, right? She's exhaling, not inhaling. When you're in that type of distress, you don't exhale. Because you usually, when you have this knot in your throat, you wanna inhale, you wanna breathe, right? She's just like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it seems like it's fake. Doesn't seem very real from an audience perspective.
I fell on the floor, and I said as I got up, I couldn't find my son.
They ask oh, like, how do you describe your baby so that people would or could be able to identify him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, this is the dad, Jake. He's like, oh, well, he has a lazy eye, and he was a good boy, and that's it. That's all they state. You know, usually, like, whenever you're, I guess, I don't know, I can only speak for myself, but like Camila, say my cousin, she goes missing, God forbid, but she goes missing, and they ask me, can you describe something about her so we can identify her?
You're gonna list curly hair.
I'm gonna be like, her hair, she has curly hair.
Bones.
She squints, her nose squints when she smiles, like something.
Chubby nose.
Yeah, something that.
You would actually try to describe her.
More. I would add more details than just a lazy eye.
He just said lazy eye and good boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder what's the psychology behind that, like.
Well, it just seems like usually when people don't care about someone or something, they don't really go into detail or go in depth into the thing.
Well, you gotta remember that you have to pretend like you care.
Yeah, but they don't. But that's my point.
Because
it's
they're gonna get caught.
Even if they try
to
fake it, it's like they have nothing to say because they don't know anything about the kid because they don't really care about them. What it seems like, right, from off the bat.
Yeah.
If I were to pinpoint why he doesn't know what to say, or if he just says that, if he's trying to fake it, then it's because he doesn't really care about the kid enough to really see his flaws or features or whatever it is, right? And all he points out are the things that he could remember. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he didn't even like state anything else. But yeah, so
it's pretty hard to believe, though. You know, I think there's something deeper than that.
What?
Something deeper than he just didn't remember his features. Because I really doubt he didn't remember any of his features.
Well, why couldn't even say, oh, he has brown hair, brown eyes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those are like pretty simple things, even if you don't care about the kid, because he is your kid and you see him every day.
I don't know. Maybe some people are not.
Like, he was probably in shock. Not in shock, but he was like very so defensive that his answer wasn't. He was like a scary answer. You know what I mean? Because he know what he did.
But it would have made more. It would have made more sense if he knew, or if he was more broad. Does that make sense? Because then that's more. It's kind of more likely. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it would make more sense if he was more broad than just pointing out his lazy eye. You know?
Yeah. Or maybe he just thought like the lazy eye was good enough description.
I guess.
I don't know.
There's an interview of Rebecca again, and she explains the moment where the guy or the man that approaches her from behind. I guess for me, right? If you're trying to describe as much as you can, you didn't see the man, right? You didn't see, let's say, you didn't see the man. And you didn't get nothing. You didn't get what he was wearing. Yeah, none of that. But all you heard was his voice. I'd be like, he has deep voice. It sounded like he's a smoker. You know, something like that would kind of identify him so you can find him more. But she was just like, oh, he just said hola, right?
Yeah.
And then if he just said hola, then I would be like, all right, he said it like this. He said it with the high pitch. I would obviously pronounce it the way
because it was real.
said it.
You would say more details about it.
Not even that, but that's the only thing I remember, and that's the last thing I remember. So that's gonna be buried in my head, right?
Well, yes, because that was a very traumatic
event.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
And so these 2 interviews, both of the times that she said the word hola, like describing that moment, she says them both differently. She goes, hola, and then she goes, hola. Like she goes up and down. Does that make sense? So it doesn't sound like she, if someone were to go through something so traumatic and that was the only thing that you heard.
No, yeah, if she's switching up the pitch,
you would want to say it the same way.
And somebody said, hola, and that's all I remember. And then someone said, hola, and I couldn't even turn, and I was just...
Unless she received brain damage.
Nah.
A blow to the head that knocks you out.
But then you wouldn't remember what he said.
I don't know. I don't know enough about brains.
Another interview was Rebecca and Jake. Jake is holding this flyer of Emmanuel. Basically, all it says is missing kid, 7 months, and then it says his name, Emmanuel Haro. And then at the very bottom, it just says please contact dad, and then it has his phone number, and then mother, and then it has her phone number, right? Now, a lot of people thought that this flyer was a little odd because all it says is missing kid. You know, usually when people put out missing flyers of kids or anybody, they put the height, they put the weight, they put the colored eyes, or what color are their eyes and their hair, you know, stuff like that. But it's just missing kid. And also another thing is, like, usually from what I was looking at when I was doing my research, I was looking at flyers of like missing kids, right? They don't usually say missing kids. They usually said missing child. Kids sound so harsh. I don't know if for you can agree with that, but me, when I say kid, it sounds so harsh. Like it's not I wouldn't say that's my kid. I would be like, that's my child.
Yeah, but
that's my son.
It's because the thing that I be noticing about that is you gotta notice the background of the person, the way they talk, the slang that they use.
And that's another thing.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I was gonna say too. Is like a lot of people probably think it's like their language. You know, they're Hispanic. They speak Spanish, they speak English, but they speak really good English.
Hispanic?
Yeah, they're Hispanic. So at the end of the day, putting missing kid to me sounds harsh, but a lot of people question it. It could be nothing, but either way, they could have added more details, like has brown eyes, brown hair.
Yeah.
Is 20 pounds or however much.
I just refer that to like ignorance, you know? Ignorancia, like they don't know how to make a flyer like that.
But it's like if you're wanting to look for your son, you would put any details.
Yeah, the effort.
Any detail, yeah.
It's or at least look up a flyer how you're supposed to like.
Not even that. It's like, I want you to find my son. Here is every detail that I have of him for you to find him. Jake, the father, while he was holding the flyer, he didn't seem like he was crying. He seemed like he was doing the same thing that Rebecca was doing. Like sounding like he was crying, but there was really no tears coming out. But that's exactly the only thing that they were doing, right? And it was just awkward because he was just standing there with this flyer in his hand and just holding it, and just like, he's like, this is what he looks like, and he just holds it in front of the camera, and it just looks weird. It just looks very awkward. It doesn't look like, it just looked awkward. That's all I can explain it.
This is what he looks like. He's just a baby. Just give our son back, please.
He was wearing a black onesie with a Nike swoosh on him. If you know anything, please come forward, please. Please bring us back our son. Safe.
He was explaining, like, you know, the moment of like he says his wife was changing the baby's diaper, Emmanuel's diaper, and instead of saying diaper, he says diaper, which sounds really weird. A grown man saying diaper.
We come to you guys asking you to help us find our son. He was abducted last night from Big Five. Somebody struck my wife while she was trying to change his diaper. And we just ask if anybody knows anything to please contact Ukaipa Police Department.
Don't hesitate, just call.
His name's Emmanuel. He's 7 months. He's 7 months old.
It sounded like he was just trying to be like, oh, I'm this innocent man. Like, she was trying to change his diaper, you know? And it just seemed to really awkward. It just felt awkward. Just the aura, the energy coming off of them. They just also didn't seem like, you know, as a couple, losing your child, I feel like you would want to like kind of be comforting each other. And they were just both standing there. It didn't seem like Rebecca was wanting to get close to him at all. It just seemed like she was kind of like far away from him. Like she was just standing there in the distance in a way. Like it just didn't seem like they were trying to comfort each other. At one point they like start holding hands, but it was just like not, it just didn't look right.
It didn't look genuine.
Yeah, it just didn't look right. It looked awkward, and it was just not something that looked like a couple that lost their child. I know I talked about a little bit about the flyers and what they had on them, but when they first bring out the flyers, you see Rebecca and Jake, right? They have a whole bunch of people around them, their family or whatever, right? Jake has the box of the flyers, but the box is closed. And as soon as he opens them, he's looking down. He's not crying. He's just looking at them. And Rebecca looks at him, looks at Jake, and then looks at the flyers, and then looks at him, and then looks at the flyers. Basically, it seems like she's trying to figure out what emotion she's going to choose. It all depends on how he reacts to it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because she's looking at him, and as soon as he starts crying, or crying, quote unquote, she starts crying, right? And she's looking at the flyers. The flyers are there the whole entire time. So it's like, me personally, I can't speak for other people, but me personally, if I'm looking at a flyer of my kid that's been abducted, immediately as soon as I see his face, I'm gonna cry. I'm going to cry. I'm not gonna look at nobody. My eyes are on that flyer because I want to see what they look like, and I want to see my son once again. And if I'm looking at these flyers and I see his face, I'm gonna cry. And she looks at him for reassurance. Mm-hmm. So it looks a little bit weird and awkward as to why she's looking around. The sister of Jake comes up and starts speaking up on the internet. And she comes out with the video and she's explaining like the situation. She's like, you guys are horrible people if you don't believe in this woman. Like, she just lost her son and all this stuff. The sister of Jake. Yeah. And she's talking about Rebecca.
Because she's seeing all the criticism.
She's seeing all the criticism. Because this is everything that I was telling you is literally what everybody was saying when those interviews came out. This was on TikTok. This was on Instagram, Facebook,
yeah, I can see how it could get someone mad because it got me like frustrated. I'm like, dang, girl, like, come on, people.
Yes. So that's what the sister was talking about, right? And then she was explaining the story of what happened. She's like, yeah, she felt a tap on her shoulder, and the man said, Hola.
So she realized that he had went to the bathroom on himself. Of course, he's a baby. And she laid him down in the back. Her back was turned. She was about to change him. She was getting everything prepared. And she felt like a tap on her shoulder. She turned around and all she heard was Hola. And before she could even see this person, acknowledge this person, whatever the case may be, he socked her in the face.
Now,
the tap
when
changed.
Rebecca was telling the story, there was no tap. She didn't feel anything else. The only thing that she heard, or the only thing that happened from her story, was all he said was Hola. So where did this tap come from? Mm-hmm. So now he tapped her. Okay. And so she keeps continuing the conversation. She's saying that he tapped her on the shoulder or whatever. And then she also states she turned around and then she saw white and then fell to the ground and she didn't see anything else, right? Okay, when Rebecca's telling the story, Rebecca said that she didn't turn around. She didn't have time to even turn around. That's what Rebecca said. So where is this coming from? Why is she now turning around?
Well,
right?
I mean, this is a different person telling the story. You know, they could like imagine.
That's what I was thinking too.
Like I was imagining something different when you told me she was looking up and down.
That's what I was thinking too. Is like maybe she, because maybe
has a
she
picture
added
in her hair,
own,
in her head, her own picture.
Just want to point out, there was allegedly no cameras around where she was at, so there was no footage of when the baby was abducted. Emmanuel was abducted, but there was no cameras and no one saw, so there's no witnesses. So it's just odd. You're in front of a store. There's no cameras, and nobody saw you. Okay, that's one thing, right? The search happens, and when the search happens, citizens started searching around the city, and even the police started searching with canines. And the police brought the canines to the parking lot where the Emmanuel was abducted. No scent was picked up by the canines of Emmanuel in the parking lot.
Is that normal?
Usually their scent is gonna stay there. Dogs have a really good scent, so they can smell from a mile away. And if the baby was there the day before, they're gonna smell something in the air or something in the car or something like that, right? But they didn't pick up any scent. No scent at all. And after they brought the canine to the parking lot, they put out a statement, the police station. All they said was no scent was picked up from the canines, and there was no child located in that moment, right? And so they continued the search, and still nothing was being found. Now, an employee from Big 5, from the store that she basically went to, right, came out and stated that Rebecca had came into the store a week before asking to see if they had cameras in that specific area. And they said that the only reason why they wanted to ask if they had cameras in that specific area is because somebody broke into their car in that parking spot and they wanted to catch the person. Why would you park in the same spot and in the same parking lot where allegedly your car was broken into and change your kid's diaper in that same parking lot?
I would not feel safe. Why would you? Nah, I mean, I don't think that way. I think as in like that's very suspicious. That's suspicious. Like, why would you do that? Yeah, you would do that. I would.
You would still change your diaper in a parking lot where your car was broken into? Especially as a woman.
No, yeah. If it was a week ago, nah.
Yeah, it literally was just recent.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm on the wild side, so I'll be doing dumb stuff even.
I guess because I don't
have the mother instinct. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. Me as a woman, I'm very like, well, I guess I can only speak for myself, but I know as a woman, I get really scared when I'm by myself, especially in a spot where something had already happened to me.
Already gotten robbed. You're gonna have some trauma in that area.
I'm not gonna want to change my baby's diaper in the middle of a parking lot where my car was broken into. Right? And it's in the same parking spot that she parked in.
It's cap.
That was allegedly where her car was broken into.
Nah, yeah. Because that's so suspicious. That's like, don't be suspicious. That's suspicious.
And also, another thing is like, okay, you're going to change his diaper. Let's say that's what happened, right? Let's say that's it. That's the spot that your car was broken in, right? Well, one, you can choose to change his diaper in the car, right? Yeah. Or you can choose to go inside to the bathroom to change his diaper.
Well, then that's just preference. Some people are lazy, or
But
like
it's not even that.
they're or why do you think?
What?
Because you get me. Anybody could just change it in the car. You know how many times my mom has changed my diaper
Yeah,
or
but
my brother.
if you see this parking spot, it's literally right next to the door where you just walk into the store.
But still,
right? And then also, it would be easier to change your baby's diaper in a bathroom where there's a little, bathroom tray and you can like change his diaper there. And you can just go into the store. I mean, obviously maybe it's preference.
I guess let's agree to disagree. That might just be preference.
Yeah, maybe it's just preference, but it would just make more sense to just go into the store, change him in the bathroom, and then go shopping.
Or why did they go to 5 and below or what?
To get a mouthpiece for the
So she was in a rush then.
I don't know if she was in a rush.
She was probably in a rush.
Personally, I don't know. I don't know. She never stated that she was in a rush. She just said that she went to go get a mouthpiece.
I don't think that's like suspicious. I guess in my opinion.
Okay, maybe because we're not parents yet. Maybe if we were parents, we could say a little bit more.
But yeah, so she might not care because I wouldn't do it in the car because I'm gonna get poop in the car. You get me? And then also like,
what are you gonna do with how are you gonna get poop in the car? Is it gonna explode or something?
Nah, like I pick up the diaper, that shit. Bloop.
No, baby. This is how know that you're not a parent.
I don't know.
You don't be changing diapers.
Shit, you get a wipey, and then it gets all over
that's not how it works.
You probably get messy.
No, that's not how it works.
I would only change my child.
I don't know. I should have asked a parent because we're not parents. So maybe it would be better for you to change your diaper.
Let's have a special guest.
Maybe it would be better to change their diaper in the bathroom, or maybe it was more convenient to change their diaper in the car. Whatever it is, people did mention that, right? Yeah. People did think that was a little bit odd, like, well, you could just take him to the bathroom, like, whatever, right? Especially because that was the parking lot where your car was.
That's a lot of criticism. How many criticisms have they made already? That's a lot.
Well, a lot of people have a lot to say. So let's go back to the flyer. So these people were calling nonstop, right? Obviously, they're trying to look for this baby. They're trying to help him as much as possible. And literally a day after the flyers come out, and a day after the interview comes out, Rebecca decides to disconnect her phone. Now, why are you trying to disconnect your phone if you're trying to find your son? So the reason why Rebecca's mom stated that the reason why she wanted to disconnect her phone was because she was receiving a lot of death threats.
Death threats?
Because people weren't believing her.
Oh.
Because people were watching that video on, I don't know if you...
Like people that have had their child missing, they're really mad and they're trying to kill her?
No.
But those are death threats?
Yeah, that they're trying to, yes, death threats, yes. But what I'm saying is that the reason why people are what's it called? Giving her these death threats is because they believe that she's not telling the truth. They believe that she did something to her son because her interviews do not look legit. This is what was coming out on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. So everybody had whatever to say. Yes. So everybody had so much to say. So people, I don't know if you are on this side of TikTok or if you see these things, but basically, when they're like detectives. People online are like detectives. They be nitpicking at every little thing that you do.
I noticed.
More than investigators. That's an investigator job, right? They're trying to look at your body language. They're trying to see if you did the crime, right? Nah, these people act like they're investigators. Now, these people were the ones that were sending death threats to Rebecca because her body language did not look legit. She did not look like she was a distressed mother that was trying to look for her son. So people were like,
these are mad
fake.
Moms.
You're not even moms. Really? It wasn't moms.
Bruh,
it's everybody.
Get a life.
No, it's just like it's these people that really like care about a baby. They really care about a baby. that was
they're
innocently.
mad. They're mad
Yes.
that they think that, oh, you did something to your son. You better have not done something to your son.
Exactly. Like,
or I'm gonna do something to you.
No, I mean, I don't know the specifics, but she was receiving death threats. That's what they were saying. And that's what the mom was saying, Rebecca's mom.
That's why she disconnected her phone.
And that's why she disconnected her phone. Now, even if you were receiving death threats, it would, I can only speak for myself, but me, even if I was receiving death threats, I would still be like, I don't care.
What if?
Yeah. You know, I don't care. If I didn't do it, right? If I didn't do anything to my son and I'm telling you the truth, I'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah, because what if somebody calls you and then that's actual
And what if somebody does call me?
Yeah.
What if somebody does call me that's telling me like, hey, I found your kid, you know? I don't care. I'm looking for my son. Believe me or not, but I'm telling the truth, right? If she was telling the truth, I believe that she would do that, right? So she disconnects her phone because she was receiving these death threats. And then they stop making an appearance on
interviews,
on the news or anything like that, or in online.
They stopped doing interviews.
They stopped, like cold turkey, done, right? Rebecca's mom started speaking for them, and she started saying, basically in an interview, she started saying things like, Rebecca's not doing good. She doesn't want to go through this again. Basically, before she had already lost a grandson, Rebecca's mom. It was basically the brother of Rebecca, his son, but he was an adult. So, and he died because
legitimately.
Yes, and he died because overdose. Because of fentanyl, is what he took. And so she had already lost a grandson before, and she was like, I don't want to lose another one.
I'm Mary Boyce-Housen. I'm the mother of Rebecca's mom. Jake is, Emmanuel is my grandson.
The little boy from Yucaipa.
From Yucaipa is my grandson. Please help us find him. You know, if you have him, please return him. We don't want nothing. We will not do anything. Just leave the baby somewhere where we can find him, somewhere that is safe for him. Please, I'm begging you to please just do the right thing for this baby. He's only a little baby. He doesn't know nothing, okay? He can't talk. He can't just say nothing, okay? So please just return the baby, please.
Emmanuel
Haro, yes.
7 months old.
7 months old.
About 20 pounds.
20 pounds, yes.
Wearing a black Nike onesie.
Yes.
His mother?
She's not doing good, you know. She's heartbroken, you know.
She was injured?
Yes, she was injured. She was knocked out.
There's no video?
No video. Store doesn't have video.
Do we know exactly where it happened?
Exactly. It's right here. The truck was parked here.
Here in this.
Right here in this parking space. The truck was parked here, and she got out of the truck to change the baby. And when she got out, she was trying to get the diapers, the bag, you know, to change the baby because he had pooped before she went into the store. And she said that all of a sudden, you know, they just say Hola, and you know, they hit her and knocked her out. And she said all I saw was white. She says when I came to, you know, she started running into the store and asking if anybody had seen the baby, and they said no. So she ran all around the store looking for the baby or for somebody, you know, and called 911. That's all I can tell you.
Do we know how long she was unconscious, or was she unconscious?
She was unconscious. No.
Is there any witnesses that we know of?
No witness, no.
Any leads at all? The police? Nothing? They
don't tell us nothing. That's the worst thing, you know, that they don't tell us nothing.
I'm so sorry for...
Keep your eyes open for this baby, please, just... No, we just lost a grandson. We just buried a grandson last Tuesday. We can't go through this again. Please, just bring us the baby. Just tell us where he's at, you know, just leave him somewhere safe, please.
We're gonna do our best to help you.
We can't go through this again, you know, just
God just bring this baby back. It's on his mama and his grandma.
To me, Personally, it seemed like she was, genuine. But
like she didn't know the truth.
Yeah. But supposedly, she has never met Emmanuel. Wow. It's been 7 months and she's never met him. Supposedly. I'm not 100% sure that. No. This is what information is coming from people.
Like outside sources.
From online. That she's never met her. I mean, she's never met the baby.
Yeah.
She's never met Emmanuel. I don't know how much of that is true. Now, let's get into Jake, the father, and his background. So, Jake, he has a lot of criminal history, right? And in 2018, what do you have something to say?
I saw pictures.
Don't look at it.
Hurry up.
In 2018, there was an incident that was reported by Jake, and it was basically he brought an iPad to the police station and stated that his wife, which at that time was not Rebecca, it was another woman named Vanessa, was looking up something on his iPad, and the only people that have access to that iPad is him and Vanessa. And the search bar, it's stated, "Can I feed a baby with broken ribs?" Right?
Who brought this iPad?
Jake brought it to the police station.
What?
And was saying that Vanessa was looking this up, right? And the reason why he brings it to them is because they had to take the baby to the hospital because the baby was not doing very well. This baby was 10 weeks old. It was a little girl. And he basically stated that what happened was he had dropped her, that little divider of the sink? The little divider of the sink, you know what I'm talking about? How there's splits in two. So that divider, he dropped her on that divider, and she hurt herself. Now, her injuries were, she had rib and skull fractures and a brain hemorrhage.
Brain hemorrhage is when you get what's it called? A clog, a blood vessel clog in the brain.
So she was not doing well. And supposedly when Vanessa got home from work, Vanessa supposedly grabbed the baby and felt like the ribs were crackling. And Jake was like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that." It's like, how did you not notice that if you were with her the whole entire time, right?
I bet you she was crying when she grabbed her.
I'm not sure. But, so that's basically what happened. He was bathing her or that's what he states. He was bathing her in the sink because she was not feeling well that day. She was already sick, and he was bathing her in the sink, and he drops her on an accident and drops her on that divider, and she breaks her ribs and breaks her skull, and then has a brain hemorrhage, supposedly.
Dang, man.
And she was 10 weeks old. So when they were basically investigating this situation, he did not drop her on the sink. He beat the baby.
What evidence?
There was evidence that came out from
forensics.
Whatever they discovered.
Is forensics even like with live people?
Huh?
Is forensics even with people that are alive?
Yeah.
Okay, so forensics report probably.
So they did the biopsy. I mean, they tried to see her injuries and everything. She's still alive. She went to the doctor. I mean, to the hospital, and she's still alive. But they checked her injuries, and they were like, "This does not look like she just was dropped in a sink." Yeah, it's like it looked completely worse. She also had her leg was her bone on her leg was also broken. But at that time was kind of, what is the word? What's the word with something? Healing.
Mm-hmm.
It was healing. So it's like, it doesn't make sense, his story.
Yeah.
And then they found other evidence. And the police did not believe any of it. The police did not believe the story. So he did not drop her. He beat her. A 10-week-old baby.
Oh my goodness.
And he was convicted in 2023 and was arrested for willful child cruelty, and he pled guilty.
Dang.
He was only given 180 days of work release program. 72 months of state prison was suspended. That means that he didn't go to prison nor jail. And he was given approximately 48 months of probation. So he did not go to jail. He was only given a slap on the wrist.
They cut him some slack.
Yeah. He didn't go to jail for that. Now let me tell you how this baby ended up. She is now 7 years old. But she can't breathe on her own. She can't walk. She can't talk. She's blind. And she has a feeding tube. All because he wanted to cause pain on her. So why was he not given any jail time? For literally, she's still alive, but he literally killed her. Because she can't live her life on her own without these tubes, without
her
being
mom loves
fed.
her a lot.
Vanessa was also taken into custody.
Mm.
There has to be other evidence as to maybe she was also doing some sort of, abuse to their kids. So, the baby was given to Vanessa's cousin, and also their other kids was also given to Vanessa's cousin, and she is now has custody of all her kids and all of his kids. So the parents were eventually arrested, Rebecca and Jake, on August 22nd of 2025 for suspicion of murder in their home. They were arrested. And there were a lot of basically...
Rebecca? Oh, now we're back to
the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we're back in present time. Rebecca, now his current wife, was arrested. Him and Rebecca. Jake and Rebecca. And the reason why they were arrested, or the things that they had to arrest them, was because there were search warrants for their phones, their electronics, and there was evidence in there that seemed like there was abuse in their home. There was also, they also had a close analyzation of the situation that was going on. So they were analyzing very, 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 very closely to everything that they would do and everything that they would say. And there was just a lot of suspicion of something's going on here. And then, based on the evidence, investigators determined that the kidnapping did not occur. So there was no abduction. So it was all a lie. And then also, they believed that Emmanuel is deceased, and search to recover his remains was ongoing. So this is what they stated in their statements. And yeah, they were arrested. Now, 2 days later, this footage came out all over TikTok, all over Facebook, of Jake in his tracksuit, right? They
like jail?
In this field with police.
Oh.
Basically, they're
insinuating where they buried the child.
They're thinking that he's taking them where the baby was buried.
Oh, man,
it's
that's
not
so sad.
To be honest,
that's very sad, Babette. Like, imagine just that's not my kid, and I'm over here like.
It is sad.
Like, I don't know, I feel it right here.
But it's not confirmed. A lot of people ask them like, what were you guys doing? And then they were like, did y'all find the remains or whatever? And then they're like, no.
It's under, and they can't disclose that.
They didn't deny nor confirm, right? So on September 4th, this was about 2 days after they were arrested.
Oh, okay.
So 2 days after they were arrested, this was like maybe August 24th.
Yeah.
When they saw that picture, that footage of Jake with the police officers and in this field. So people are assuming that that's where he's leading them to. And on September 4th, Rebecca and Jake pled not guilty in court to murder and filing a false police report. So they pled not guilty for those charges because they were charged for that. Mm-hmm. And evidence showed that Emmanuel went through ongoing abuse that could have potentially taken his life. So evidence show. So all the evidence that they were able to gather up, you know how I said that they have search warrants and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They had a warrant to go through all their stuff. Yeah. And they found evidence to prove that they were abusing Emmanuel, that it could have led up to his death, and that's why they decided to make up this whole story of him getting abducted, so that people wouldn't find out. Yeah, so that the people wouldn't find out that they potentially could have murdered them.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So what's it called? And they also, they reported this incident of the abduction to the police, and it could have been false. Well, they have evidence as to it could be false, and they were charged for falsely,
like, through a judge already.
They're already charged for that, and they pled not guilty. So their bond is about $1 million. I don't know if it's each or together, but
I don't think they have $1 million to be honest with you.
$1 million to be taken out of jail, and then as of today,
500,000.
No, they have a settlement conference that will be on October 16th. So a settlement conference is basically to resolve the case before the trial. So they'll do this settlement conference to be like, okay, we can come into agreement that you are guilty, that you did this crime,
and we'll knock it down a little.
We'll just, we'll just not do the what's it called, the trial. You just got to agree that you are guilty for these things, and no trial will be done for you, right? So they won't do the trial.
So what's their benefit? Why should they do that?
Because if they go into trial, they're wasting more time.
They don't care. Like,
I mean, that's what it is. That's what the law is.
Yeah.
They have this settle conference.
Dude, you're not winning this. Like, admit it already, kind of deal.
Yeah. If they don't agree, if the case is not resolved at that time, then they will move on to the trial. Mm-hmm. Now, within the trial,
and every case has this.
I'm not
settlement.
I'm not very educated on that, but I just know that this case is they are having a settlement conference to either settle this now, or we're gonna go into trial.
Because I'm thinking like maybe like they're like, yeah, we did that, like we already know we did that. So they're all like, all right, bet we're gonna do a settlement case. We're gonna do a settlement case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe the law crazy.
I don't know, but that's what they do, right?
Complicating.
So after that, so if they do not resolve the case in the settlement conference, they will move on to the preliminary hearings, which would be on October 28th. Okay, and so within this preliminary hearings, the judge would determine if there's enough evidence that the crime was committed, right? So that's what's going to go on in these hearings.
Mm-hmm.
The judge would determine that, and this is usually a shorter trial. It's not like a full-on trial like how Diddy's was.
Yeah.
It was like 8 weeks of a trial. No, it's a shorter trial. Yeah, so that's what they do. Emmanuel's body has still not been found,
or not confirmed or not announced to be found.
Which I was gonna get to that. But the district attorney's office did say in a press conference that they had an idea of where his body is. But to us, the audience, a body still has not been found. Allegedly, there was an undercover cop in a cell with Jake. So usually sometimes they would have undercover cops go into cells of a person that hasn't pled guilty or
now I know
hasn't what's the word basically admitted to their crime.
Basically saying not guilty. The people that
hasn't admitted to their crime. They will have undercover cop go in and basically pretend like like they're your cellmate. Hey buddy, how are you doing?
Dang, they're smart.
And they would
convince them to tell them the truth.
Kind of be like, what'd you get? What are you here?
You actually do?
What'd you do? Like, so stuff like that. Kind of gain their confidence. Their trust, and they would admit to it, right? And allegedly, he admitted to the crime, and that is why they have a hard evidence as to, that Jake was the one that.
This is allegedly, Rebecca. Though, right?
Yes, this is allegedly.
It's not confirmed yet.
It is not confirmed that this actually happened, but there's a lot of talks in the background saying that this went on, but like I said, it's not confirmed.
Yeah. And that's everything?
That is everything.
That's crazy.
But it's pretty sad to know that your own blood, your parents,
it's hard to do
that. Me as a mother, I don't think I could do that to my kid. A 7-month-old baby. I don't know the story. I don't know what happened. But this is my assumption, right?
Mm-hmm.
My assumption is that possibly Jake could be an abusive person.
Mm-hmm.
He probably abused Rebecca.
And Vanessa.
Well, yeah, and Vanessa.
And the baby.
He probably could have abused Rebecca as to why she has that black eye, And there's probably another story as to, what happened. Because the way she says it, I don't know if you remember, but when she said chair, like I put the baby on the chair. And maybe she was trying to, like, remember the feeling of that moment. And, like, she was trying to...
Or she mistaken it for the actual moment.
Yes. So that's why a lot of people are picking up that moment where she said chair, because it's like, it's the back seat of a car. Basically, she's probably remembering another time and trying to confuse the two or something. But first of all, I forgot to mention this, and I didn't mention it before, but basically the Big Five, one of the employees stated that when she came in that week asking about the cameras, she already had the black eye. That's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a little fishy. And then the way it's healing, I don't know about a whole week, but it does seem like it was a little outdated, the black eye. And so it seems like he was just an abusive person. Jake was an abusive person. It seems like Jake could have abused Rebecca and could have abused the baby as well. And maybe it got way too far to the point where the baby suffered those injuries and probably couldn't take it anymore and died. And the mom, Rebecca, was taking Jake's back because she's scared
of what happens if she doesn't.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. But it does seem like he's trying to kind of go against her or go behind her back because, first of all, Jake is the only one that went to that field with the police. Where's Rebecca? Why isn't Rebecca there?
Because he buried her, kind of deal.
Huh?
Because he buried not her. He buried the baby.
I mean, I don't know, but at the end of the day, you're both being convicted for the same crime.
Yeah.
And if she knows, she has to know.
And that kind of explains a little bit more. Like if she gets abused by him, that explains a little bit more why she's looking at him and why he's doing the reason why he's doing what he's doing, because he's like, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to mess this up. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I brought it up, is because I just wanted you to remember those times where she was like looking back and forth, or she wasn't like, she was awkward, like standing there like this, like it was just very awkward,
like she doesn't,
yeah, like she doesn't want to.
Now it makes sense.
When you don't have that. I mean, we can't really say anything because we've never been in a relationship where we were being abused. But usually, when you're in a situation like that, in a relationship like that, you don't want to be close to the person. You feel like, uncomfortable, like I don't want to mess anything up. Like you just don't feel that sort of
You want them there, but not there.
Like you don't feel that sort of bond of like, oh, let me touch you, let me caress you,
Yeah, you don't feel that cariño.
Exactly.
You're just with them for protection, I guess, in a way.
I don't know about that, but
because I did hear psychologists, and supposedly they stay with that person because they don't want to feel unsafe, because they feel like being without them is even worse. In their head. You know what I mean?
Well, we can't speak for every person,
Yeah.
Because every person is different. But I mean, that could be the case, but it does seem like she's afraid of him. It seems like there's really no love there. Mm-hmm. It just seems very unattached and just not very, I guess the word that you use, cariño. So like, they're just not comforting each other, Like, how would you comfort me? You'd be like, rubbing my back or something.
Now that I've learned how.
I mean, yes,
I didn't know how.
If you're in a situation like that and our son is gone,
no, yeah, it would kick in. Even I didn't know how, but
you at least want to give me a hug or something.
Yeah, I would be there for you.
So that's the case of Emmanuel Haro, and I hope that he is found and he goes peacefully. Well, what's the word whenever
he's at peace.
Yeah, like no, there's another word where it's like, oh, he's resting peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And everything comes out, although the true story comes out, because it's so sad, and I just want to kind of shine light on those moments, because a lot of people don't realize or don't pick up the signs of when a child is being abused. And then like there's a lot of like situations like this when the child is being abused by their parents, and it gets to the point when they die because of this horrible abuse. And there's moments where people don't pick up the signs. They don't pick up the signs of a kid going through these type of things. A kid's, especially because he's a kid, he's very innocent. Sometimes they're not going to want to speak. They're not going to want to tell anyone because they're scared. they're scared and they just can't do anything about it. They're a little kid. They're very innocent. What are they going to do? They can't fight back. You know? So I do want to shine light on those situations, on those cases, because a lot of this happens where kids are being abused and then they end up dying. There's a lot of cases like that. So I really hope that they're able to find Emmanuel.
Yeah. And I want to see what you guys feel about when you listen to this episode. If you guys could in the description, or if you guys could in the comment section, just see how you feel, how it made you feel. If there's any situation that you've ever seen like that, how would you have handled the situation if you were a detective? Or what input did you see that you would like to comment so everybody else can see it as well?
Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Like, comment, subscribe.
And I can't wait to see you in the next one.
Deuces.